What's going on, everybody? It is that time again. Sooners Illustrated game preview time. Josh Callaway, James D. Jackson, Tom Green. Week 2, Saturday night, number 15, Oklahoma, hosting Houston at the stadium. It's a 6:45 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the SEC Network. How many OU fans know where the SEC Network is on their cable? You're going to have to find it this weekend as OU is going to play Houston on there. A little catch up here on Houston. If you're unfamiliar, not great. They're not probably as much of a mismatch as Temple was last weekend, but Oklahoma going to be another big favorite here. The Cougars are coached by Willie Fritz, who many fans may recognize the name. He came over from Tulane in the offseason, so it's his first year there. They're going to, it's a rebuild situation for the Cougars in the Big 12. They were picked second to last, 15 out of 16 in the preseason poll. They lost by 20 to UNLV at home in their season opener last week, so not pretty. They do have some guys, though, and some names that OU fans will remember. We'll get into that as we go along here in the game preview. But, yeah, guys, Oklahoma's going to be another big favorite. Again, a slight step up in competition from Temple last week, but, again, a game that if all goes right, Oklahoma should probably win pretty soundly.
For sure. I mean, hey, that's pretty much what it is at this point in time. I think, as you said, that OU is going to be a very good betting favorite over Houston. I mean, You saw what they did against UNLV. It shouldn't be too difficult of a task for OU to win this game, even with a lot of guys probably sitting out to get more healthy and get more ready for the SEC slate. So I think that's the situation OU is in right now. Just need to stay healthy, as Josh said in last week. That's one of the keys, to stay healthy and keep on going from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a step up in competition because it is a Power 5 team, but Houston is, obviously not off to a great start this year. Like you said, they're going through a rebuild with Willie Fritz there. I think 8 of their 11 starters on defense are new additions. Offense obviously struggled last week against UNLV, even though they have a veteran quarterback there in Donovan Smith, who Oklahoma fans are probably a little familiar with because he did quarterback for I believe he was at Texas Tech in 2021.
Texas Tech, yeah.
Wow. So
HOU.
Yeah. I think he completed I think I got it down here. 17 to 22 passes for like 200 yards and a touchdown. So not an incredible line, but I mean, he is a guy that there are a few guys on this roster who have faced him before: Danny Stutzman, Woody Washington, Billy Bowman, Ethan Downs. So they know a little bit about what to expect from him in terms of skill set, even though I'm sure he's developed over the last 3 years. But yeah, it's a game that Oklahoma should, again, handle its business, but it's going to be a little bit more of a test because you are facing some, Power 5 caliber players, especially on that Houston defense.
Yeah, last time Donovan Smith played in Norman on Owen Field, Lincoln Riley was the head coach. Caleb Williams was the quarterback. Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman were freshmen. So, yeah, a lot has changed last time he came. Shows how quickly things change, and also shows how long he's been around. So, going to be an interesting little matchup there as he comes back to Norman 3 years later. Quick injury report. It sounds like Jake Taylor's going to play in this game. He'll be making his season debut. Not real clear on Branson Hickman. Wouldn't bank on him playing. I mean, did sprain that ankle. It sounds like he's bouncing back from it well.
Yep.
So we'll wait and see. But, wouldn't probably bank on it. Nick Anderson, also kind of up in the air. Brent Venables said sooner rather than later. I think there's probably a chance he's held back again, but he may be ready. He's going to kind of be a wait-and-see guy there as well. And I would assume Woody Washington and Gentry Williams both probably have a chance to play a little bit more in this game as well. That being said, let's get into our keys to the game. What are we watching for? What does Oklahoma need to do? What's going to maybe be the thing that catches your eye the most? We're going to keep shifting around who starts these things. So we'll let James, you can kick us off for keys to the game for Oklahoma-Houston.
Yeah, so OU had a really good game overall against Temple last week. But one of the nitpicks of what their performance was at third down conversions. Now, I think the reason that they got there, this is what Jackson Arnold expressed, is they just got behind on that first down play. They got behind the chains, didn't get a good start. So that's going to be the key to the game. Getting a good start on first down, getting a couple yards, maybe with the run game, a short pass, things like that to get the offense in momentum and getting themselves into rhythm. So I think that's one of the keys to the game. I mean, I talked about it earlier. Staying healthy is one as well. And, I mean, no turnovers. Jackson Arnold had a really good game last week with no turnovers. Keep that momentum going, keeping the ball in OU's hands, and they should win this game because, as we've said, they have the better team on paper. They have the better team in the history of what they put together on the field. So putting it all together, it should be fine if they have no turnovers, getting started early and things like that. That's the keys to the game for me.
Yeah, to kind of add on to James's third down thing, Oklahoma averaged, I believe, 8.4 yards to gain on its 12 third downs against Temple, which is not good at all. That's why they converted just one of those 12 third downs, and the only conversion was that Taylor Tatum touchdown in the final few minutes. So coming out of the first week of the season, Oklahoma is dead last in the country in third down conversions, which is topsy-turvy from where they were last year when they finished 7th in the country. Yeah. So, I agree with James. If they can get themselves into more favorable, more manageable third downs, obviously the odds of, converting those increase considerably.
For sure. You can probably, we saw it. You can get away with going 1 for 12 on third down against Temple. I don't know if you can get away with that against Tennessee and Alabama and LSU and Texas. Sure. So, yeah, that's going to be something that's going to have to improve. Was that a one-off weird thing? We'll see. Is that a problem all year? We'll see. So that's a good one for sure. I will also agree, and I'll expound on the turnover thing. That was something that, and Tom, you brought it up on Monday's podcast. It was all spring camp. That was the thing. Jackson Arnold keeps turning the ball over. And then the Alamo Bowl. And they didn't, they did a good job of that against Temple. You'd like to see more of the same. Cougars did force one interception last week against UNLV. If Houston is going to have any chance to hang in this thing, a big way would be if Oklahoma turns the ball over a couple times and gives the Cougars some short fields to work with. Again, is Donovan Smith an NFL level prospect? Obviously not, but he is dynamic. He is an athlete. And so if you give him enough short fields, there's a possibility they could put up some points and then who knows, right? So a big one for me, my key would definitely be protect the ball. Avoid big mistakes, because that's really, when you're as much of a favorite as Oklahoma is in this game, that's one of the only ways to flirt with an upset is just have big, huge momentum-shifting disaster plays. And they did a great job avoiding that last week. You'll need more of that against Houston. Players to watch. I feel like there's a lot of directions you can go for this week.
I don't get to give my keys.
I thought you already did. My bad.
Oh, no, I was just adding on to what James was saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. I thought you did too. Yeah, go ahead.
My bad. I was going to say defensively to just keep rolling. Houston last week gave up 6 sacks, which was as many as Temple gave up against Oklahoma. I think only Sam Houston State and Florida Atlantic allowed more sacks in the opening week of the season. So I think Oklahoma's defenders are going to have a chance to pin their ears back and get a little bit more active there in the pass rush again. And, we mentioned how bad Oklahoma was on third downs. Houston was just 2 of 15 on third downs against UNLV, 2 of 8 passing with 2 interceptions on third downs. So if Oklahoma can, kind of keep rolling and just their defense is going to be an advantage in this game. I don't think Houston's offense is a world beater by any means. Yeah. But keep the defense rolling and then, clean up the offensive line play a little bit. And I know, that's the biggest concern for a lot of people coming out of week 1, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take some reps together, especially when you've had to move some pieces around. But if those guys can get a little, some more quality reps and against a Power 5 opponent now, even though Houston is not that great, it is still better competition and they'll have, more opportunities to, kind of gel.
100%. Sorry about that, Tom. I didn't mean to try and squeeze you out of keys to the game. Players to watch. Like I was kind of saying, there's a lot of directions I feel like you can go with it for this week in particular. I guess technically I'm starting for players to watch. There's a lot of directions. I'm gonna go Brennan Thompson for my player to watch.
That's good.
This week. We talked about on Monday. Jaden Gibson's obviously out for the year. Jalil Farouk is out for 2 months. Nick Anderson's on his way back. Angelo Anthony's still trying to find his footing. They need another guy after Deion Burks, who obviously is going to be your number 1. They need another guy really bad. And Brennan Thompson, he won the job in camp. It feels like they want him to be that guy. I'm hesitant to say the first game was bad, but it wasn't good. It wasn't. He didn't have a real mark on the game. Had 4 catches for 15 yards. had a drop in there, had that little flip where he could have just got the first down and ran backwards, basically. So again, not bad to be an overstatement, but he didn't have a big moment in the game really either. So, I think it'd be nice for Oklahoma if they could get him loose down the field at least maybe once in this game, maybe try to get him in the end zone, just get that confidence going and kind of get the ball rolling for him. Because, again, they need another guy after Deion Burks to give Nick and Andrell some time as they try to get back in the full swing of things. Because they just, right now, the wide receiver room is just kind of waiting on someone else to step up. And for me, that feels like that probably should be Brennan Thompson. So we'll see. What about you guys, players to watch?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jake Taylor. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but he's expected to make his season debut this week. If he gets that start at right tackle, I think that's going to do a lot to help kind of alleviate some of those issues on the offensive line, because the right side of the line just wasn't very good. Even at right guard, after they had to shift things around, we looked a little bit shaky at times, didn't grade out completely. Stellar on Pro Football Focus. But Spencer Brown, I think he gave 2 pressures. One of the 3 sacks that they allowed was because of him. I think Jake Taylor's going to do a little bit better in pass protection if he's the one that gets the nod there. And ultimately, I think when this offensive line has its optimal 5, that Jake Taylor is going to be a part of it at right tackle. So I'm curious to see how he can kind of get his season started after being held back last week.
Hey, we may have to go back around and do a defensive player to watch too, because I'm also on the offensive side. I'm going with Gavin Sawchuk here because I don't think he had the first outing that he should have had in this Temple game. I think as the number 1 back, as the established guy, you want to see more out of him. You want to see more getting to the second level of the defense, getting into his full speed sprint with the football in his hands, because he didn't necessarily get to that in this first game. The run game was a big part of what made OU really good down the stretch last year, and they need to get that back. So he needs to find his footing here, figure that out. And if not him, Taylor Tatum, Devontae Barnes, a guy like that, somebody needs to step up and be the running back 1 for this team, because the outing they had last time, that wasn't necessarily what they needed against a team like Temple.
No, for sure. And I think the fact we all picked offensive guys kind of speaks to what we were kind of talking about before we started recording, is that this Houston offense, it's one game. It was not pretty against UNLV. If all goes well, Oklahoma defense should have a good field day. But I do think the Cougars have got some guys on defense. They've got some guys. So we'll wait and see how it shakes out. But
do you want a defensive guy too? Because I'll throw one in there.
You can. Go for it if you have one.
I mean, look, we mentioned that Oklahoma had 6 sacks in the opener. 4 of those came from the interior, only 2 from the other positions. But I'm kind of curious to see Caden Woolard a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't start, but he was only on the field for 5 pass rush snaps. He got 1 hurry, and I think that again, just because of how ineffective Houston's offense was last week, I think there's going to be some pass rushing opportunities in this game for Oklahoma's defense, and I'd like to see someone like him or PJ Adebawore get a few more opportunities. To just get in there and rush the passer.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a good one.
I mean, I like that talk on PJ Adebawore too. I mean, we were expecting a little bit more from him in that first game. I guess he's still banged up. So, I mean, we want to see him have production, because we believe in that, 5-star rating that he had coming in. So, I mean, like a guy like that, you want to be a really good sack leader for you, or somebody that you really can rely on in that sacking situation. So maybe somebody like him get out there and be a player to watch too for us.
Absolutely. I'll give you one more bonus one for special teams. Tyler Keltner. Just keep the good vibes going, man.
Yeah.
The good vibes. It's all happy right now. You went 3 for 3. You won SEC Player of the Week. Don't go miss 2 field goals this week, because it all completely goes away if you miss even one. But just keep the good vibes going, man.
Yeah, kicker is such a "what have you done for me lately?"
Oh yeah.
And it just falls apart so quick. It's like 1 or 2 misses, and it's just like the confidence. It's so fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it seems like the kickers, like they sense it too. Like once they miss those 2, everybody's nagging on them. They're like, they lose confidence themselves. So yeah,
100%. All right, let's go ahead and pick the game. Oklahoma, Houston. OU's about, depending on where you look, about a 4-touchdown favorite in this game. Again, Houston's not considered very good. Picked 15th in the Big 12 for the season, and the opener was not pretty at home. What are we thinking? Tom, you can get us started. Oklahoma-Houston score prediction. What do you think goes down on Saturday?
41-6, Oklahoma.
Is that 2 field goals?
Yeah, 2 field goals.
They got to block a kick.
I think it'll be an easy cover. Offense, I guess I got them down for 5 touchdowns, a couple field goals in there. I think they're just going to handle business. You hope the offensive line looks a little bit better than it does last week, but I still think they're going to be missing some pieces and not going to be completely full strength on that offense. So still think that they've got the talent advantage and they'll handle their business.
Mm-hmm. I'm going 38-3. I'm kind of close to Tom. I think Houston may get a field goal here or there, and I think that'll be pretty much it for that offense because they didn't show a lot against UNLV, just 7 points against that defense. Now going against Oklahoma's defense, I'm not entirely sure they can put up some points, especially in the end zone against this defense. Just want to see the offense do well. Like we said, getting started fast, up in front of the chains and things like that, and they should be able to put up 35 points as an offense and then have Keltner come in and kick a field goal here and there. So I think 38-3 is a good score for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I'm going to go 45-7. I'm going to call a defensive touchdown for Oklahoma in this game. Could go a lot of directions with it. I'm going to say they get a defensive touchdown.
Who's getting it? You might as well.
The low-hanging fruit is Billy Bowman pick 6, but I'm feeling like it's going to be a scoop and score. I'm feeling like a QB sack scoop and score at some point in this game. Like I said, Houston's offense is not very good. I kind of same thought process as Temple last week. It's just very easy to get down and get one in theory. So I'll give them the 1 because I do think they have some players. And then defensively, I actually think this Houston defense is not amazing by any means, but they got some guys. I mean, Jamal Morris, linebacker, he was at OU a few years ago. He's a former Sooner, had a great year last year, had a pretty good opener. They have a safety, AJ Halsey, I think is how you say it. He was their leading tackler last year, had close to 100 tackles, monster season. He had a pretty good opener as well. Latrell McCutcheon, cornerback's a former Sooner also on this team. So they have players on the defense. And that's why I think, 35, 38 points offensively, but then throw in that defensive touchdown gets you to 45-7. So that's where I'm at. But an easy win for Oklahoma. All right, I think that's it. Be sure, of course, we're all going to be at the stadium as per usual on Saturday night. We'll have tons of coverage there all day. There's a lot there already. More to come leading up to the start of this game on Saturday and full reaction afterward on the site, both written and then on the YouTube channel, video. We'll have their instant reaction show on YouTube as well as full reaction from the team, Brent Venables, coordinators, players, all that good stuff. So keep an eye out for all that late Saturday night and then into Sunday morning for normal people who go to bed and can check that all out on Sunday on what's going to be a late night on Saturday. That's it for now. Appreciate you tuning in as always. We'll see you after the game from the stadium tomorrow night. For Tom Green, James E. Jackson, I'm Josh Callaway. We'll see you guys tomorrow night from the stadium, Oklahoma and Houston, week 2 of the 2024 season.
See you.